Favors here from the Essential Leaders Institute. Welcome everyone to the channel. I know you all have been wondering, where have I been? Had to take a break for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, so that I could get my elbow healed. You remember I was in the sling, if you all have been following me. And then another reason, I've been working on something that I believe is going to be very profound and life-changing. Hence the title, Stop Overlooking Boundaries. Now, guys, I've been counseling and been mentoring several individuals, high key performance individuals. But one thing that I've noticed throughout all of them was a lack of concentration, or should I say lack of focus on boundaries. And guys, I'm gonna tell you, boundary is this hidden thing that many of us don't pay attention to, but it's one of the most important things, skills that you need to have in order to prepare you for and take you to where you really want to be in life. And so today I want to share with you all some 5 key indicators, 5 things that you may need to take a look at that's going to show you if you've been overlooking your boundaries. And the first thing is feeling overwhelmed or resentful. Now, once again, you all know me, so I got my notes right here because I really want to share some things with you, and I want you to take this serious, because if you don't have boundaries, you kind of set yourself up for failure, okay? And that's, no one wants to do that. So feeling overwhelmed, if you frequently feel overwhelmed or resentful because you're saying yes all the time and don't have the ability to say no, it is a sign that your boundaries might be too loose or even non-existent. Now, I want you to really think about this and consider this, and I'm going to really spend some time on this topic because many people don't know what boundaries are. What does boundaries look like? What are boundaries, okay? But when you can't say no because you don't have any boundaries or you don't know your limitations, you put yourself in a position to do any and everything for everyone else. Now, my question is, how's that working out for you? Because if you got dreams, if you have goals and aspirations, desires, if you will, then it comes a point in time where you really have to make up your mind and say, you know what? I need to get myself in a position where I can start thinking about my goals and what I'm doing. So the second thing is, if you have a difficulty saying no, and I used to be this way, guys, I've been there. I know what it feels like to, I'm not going to say to be a people pleaser, but to want to, serve people and really know that you're called to serve. But you also got to understand that there's a thing called self-preservation. So if you find it hard to say no to requests or demands from other people, even when it inconveniences you, now here's the key word, if it inconveniences you so much that it goes against your values, your needs, it goes against your priorities, then that could be a sign that you need to establish some firmer boundaries. Okay, Faye, you talking about these boundaries, what are you talking about? Guys, once again, having priorities, having boundaries set for yourself puts you in a position where other people can't use you in a negative way. And I'm going to tell you the truth, you all, there's nothing worse than looking up and you've put in sweat equity, you've put in time, only to be overlooked and undervalued. It's not a great place to be. And you mean to tell me that a lot of this is because we haven't had the conversation about boundaries and what do boundaries look like? What are our standards? The third thing I want to share with you is if you feel drained or exhausted all the time. Guys, listen to me. When you're constantly feeling drained or exhausted after interacting with, certain people or certain situations, this too, yes, can be an indicator that your boundaries are being crossed. And this is when we get into that emotional side. Actually, y'all, there are 7 areas in terms of your whole life, holistically speaking, where you want to have boundaries. Okay, I did some research. Many people just go, or they do boundaries in terms of relationships, mental capacity, your mental health, your well-being. But there are other places you are, even when it comes to your physicality and your emotions. Think about it. This could be an emotional, physical, mental exhaustion, all because you didn't take the time. Now, hear me. Let me pause and say this. I don't necessarily think it's the fault of other people who do have boundaries and set standards, who can recognize that you don't have boundaries and set standards because you can't say no to them. And I just can't fault them because they have an agenda. They're trying to push, especially in business, they're trying to get their thing done. But that doesn't mean that you have to become so drained, so exhausted, where you're working long hours while others are working short hours and seems to be getting more, okay? And then number 4, you all, is resentment and anger on a deeper level. So the feeling of resentfulness or anger towards other people, even if you're not entirely sure why, here's when it becomes a problem and it's a sign. You have people, I've coached them, and after talking to them and asking them the right questions, why are you resentful? Why are you angry? No one can make you do anything. You chose to do that. You said yes when you could have said no. You knew you had an important date already planned out, booked months in advance. But because of influence and leverage, you position yourself and it makes you angry. This is what some would say, some psychologists would say, this leads to passive aggressive behavior. And it's very serious, you all. And it simply means there are boundaries. And so and number 5 is a lack of personal time and space. If you're one of the ones, like I used to be, like many of these people that I'm coaching, because once again, I found that it's a common denominator. If you have little time and space for yourself because you're always trying to accommodate other people, y'all, it's likely that your boundaries need to be strengthened. When I tell you that I noticed a consistent pattern. Now, I've been looking at this, like I said, for the last year. I just made my notes, kept doing it, but I noticed, and here's what really happened, as I start to coach, you all, when you entering into business and programs, they tend to change, especially when you have different personalities coming into it. But this one thing didn't change. It was an undercurrent, a common denominator with almost 85 to 90% of all my coaching clients within this past year, that all of them had to come to a resolve that I'm not where I want to be. You know, when we talk about closing that gap, I'm not where I want to be because I'm not really focusing on me. Now, I'm not talking about to the point to where you're being narcissistic and it's all about you. No. I'm talking about having a proper balance, and that proper balance has to start with having boundaries. So guys, I wanted to come and do this quick video to share with you once again and to have this conversation. I'm really looking forward. So if you identify, if some of this resonated with you, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, turn that bell notification on. And as always, you all, hey, let's continue this conversation. I really believe I'm going to do a series on this. And I'd like you all to really give me some feedback, give me some comment about this, okay? As always, we have our email list that we're growing, so I'm gonna leave I got a free product down there that's gonna be sharing with you all. I had a client that asked me, well, how do you come up with your products? And if I did want to be a coach, how do I come up with my products? You always talking about, Doc, how you can teach people how to monetize what they already know and use it through, online business or whatnot. How do I do that? So basically, you all, to answer that question, what I did was I put together it is kind of comprehensive, I'm gonna tell you the truth, because I really went deep into it. But I put together a small, maybe 20-page ebook that teaches you all about what I did to develop and how I develop my digital products, all the components that go into it. And I think it's a good piece. So I'll make sure I leave that down there for you. And of course, all you got to do is just fill out the quick information. There's no money involved, just asking you to, invest in yourself, take advantage of this free gift, this free, ebook that I created for you all on digital products and how to create those. Okay. So with that being said, you all, this is Doc Favors. Once again, stop overlooking your boundaries. Essential people know their limitations. That's how you stay in your lane. So as always, be essential, do essential things, and you'll have essential results. This is Doc Favors. We'll see you next time.